Rexall Place in Edmonton tonight. The Oilers built a 2-0 lead quickly, but eventually fell 5-3 to the Calgary Flames. 6'6", 250-pound Andy Sutton is with us now, as known to use his size to good advantage, and whether or not the big hits for which he's famous have had to be altered because of the climate of the NHL, we'll talk about later. But first, Andy, we've got to address what Mike Milbury was talking about back in Studio 42 as you run your way in here. That was the penalty you took for roughing in front of the net, and Olli Jokinen scored on the power play. Not asking you so much to pass judgment on the call, but in your mind, was that a turning point in the game?
Well, a little bit, especially early on. I mean, this is this is the Battle of Alberta, and you kind of got to let some of this stuff go. I mean, that was back and forth, and I mean, I don't get the, but I guess that's not my job to know what to do at that time. That's the referees. So I think it should have been at least even up, and that's the kind of game we were off to a good start with a even up kind of hard battle game, and it seemed like they've kind of put us on our heels there.
It was a lurchy type of game from you guys. Both teams, seesaw, lurchy, whichever way you want to put it, trying to get some kind of a sustained attack, especially early in the third period. It looked like you guys went to a dump and chase and get after them that way, and it was successful. And then boom, they come back the other direction. Did it feel that way? Yeah,
it was real up and down, and I think you got to give them some credit too. They played really well. I think they played their system well, and they put pucks in the right areas. And we were trying to figure them out for it seemed like a good bit of part of the game. And we had spurts where we did the right thing and put the pucks in the right areas, and other times we just couldn't find a way to beat their pressure.
What has changed for the Oilers, who start at 9-3-2? Nothing seemed to stop this team, and now, certainly in the month of November, when you get scored on, it seems like it's a cascade of events after that. What's happened?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, that's probably the million-dollar question, but it seems like maybe we tighten up a little bit, maybe get away from our system. Where I think the start of the year we were content with winning the games 2-1, and I'm not sure if we just had total confidence in what we were doing. And sometimes I think when you have a lack of success in certain areas, you lose a bit of confidence. And I think we had a great belief in what we were doing at the start of the year, and we definitely have to get back to that.
All right, Andy, the extraordinary offensive talent of some of the Oilers, it is suggested, could be rubbing off on you. Here's a tweet from Oilio.
There was some dangling tonight.
Yeah, but we'll go back to before that. After Sutton seeing eye pass on RNH, or to RNH on Wednesday, it's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, does he now save his hands for playmaking instead of fighting? We've got the sweet pass here, but what do you say?
I joked with Tom the other day. He was talking to Sean Horkoff in the morning about the power play, and I just asked him one question. I said, which half wall do you want me to work next game? And we had a chuckle about it. It's it's a part of my game. I enjoy jumping in every now and then. I have some experience at forward through the years, and Tom is always big on letting us activate and do the right thing at the right time. So I mean, it's that seems to be the way things are played now. You have to outman the other team, and the defensemen have to activate.
All right, we got a bit of dangling from you tonight in the first period, I believe. And so here's a tweet from Caden Stewart. With all Sutton's moves in the first period, where is he in the shootout lineup?
I think I'm just before Dubnyk. I'm not sure, but you never know. I am one-for-one career professional. So, yeah, I know.
Did your time playing forward help a little bit? As when you do jump up on the rush and that, you must feel comfortable handling the puck. You look poised with it.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's fun. I mean, that's what the game's about. You're supposed to have fun, and it's really nice to get down there and activate, especially with with guys like Nuge and Ebbs and Smitty and all those all the guys we have. But I mean, especially those real offensive lines. You get down there and they find you, and you can find them because they're so gifted at getting open, and just try to enjoy that part of the game.
You started your hockey career as a forward at Michigan Tech. You switched to defense, and it seemed forever that would be the position you'd play in the NHL until you got to Minnesota, where the decision to play defense was not final in one coach's mind. What happened there?
Well, it's an interesting story. I mean, everything is a sequence of events, but they tried to turn me back into a forward in Minnesota, and
Jacques Lemaire,
yeah, and his staff, and it wasn't really working out that well. And I went in and asked if I could play defense again, and they said no, that I wouldn't be a defenseman in this league. And
like point blank, just straight out?
Point blank, straight out. And that motivated me. I mean, it was a real motivating force. And but at the same time, they were good enough to trade me to a team that wanted me on defense. And then my time in Atlanta really helped to form my career.
And that's where you really developed your reputation as a fearsome hitter, and we'll talk about that in a sec. But first, March of 2010, the Senators acquired you in a trade with the Islanders, and that trade played to rave reviews on a well-known segment that airs between the first and second periods on Hockey Night in Canada.
We have Andy Sutton from Kingston, Ontario. 6 block shots. Did I not say when this trade was coming, this is one of the biggest trades of all? 6 block shots, hitting guys, banging guys. The guy is unbelievable. He broke the stick. I mean, this guy is really something. Kingston, Ontario. Did I say Kingston, Ontario?
3 times.
I did, 3 times.
And biggest trade because he's 6'5".
Biggest trade. Well, I did with the very first day, and I'll tell you, Brian Murray should be proud of this guy. He's come through, and he takes care of guys, too. And you don't want to fool with him. I mean, he's a giant. What a trade that was. I mean, that's a trade of the year as far as I'm concerned. Beautiful.
You know, you really were an impactful player for Ottawa in the short time you were there in the first round of the playoffs, and I'm thinking a lot of Senators fans are wondering why you're still not there.
Well, it's just the way things work out. You know, I decided to wait until free agency to see what was all that was available. I had aspirations of moving west, and my wife and I had, you know, dreams of living in California, so I wanted to see what was available, and the Ducks thankfully were there. That experience didn't work out that well, but you know, like I said, a sequence of events brings me here to Edmonton, and I haven't enjoyed myself this much in years.
A good Kingston boy too. I haven't heard him say that since Kirk Muller. I don't think with that much authority. But back to the hitting though, because I'm intrigued by it. A big man like you, and the ability to rock people. It looks illegal all the time because of your size. Have you modified how you go about your business as you've had to move into this new NHL or new era?
I sort of had to. It cost me $60,000 this year already to figure it out. But
that was the 5-game suspension for the hit on Landeskog.
Yeah, I mean it's a part of my game. I guess you know, if I had that play to do over again, I probably would have made the same play. I mean, maybe I'd be a little bit more mindful. I'm not sure how I go about it any differently, but I'm going to keep playing the way that's made me successful throughout my career. And
does it make you think about it on the ice, or you can't do that? There's not enough time, is there?
No, you think about it. I mean, I had 2 nights ago, I had Vermette lined up in the corner perfectly, and I let up because I was worried I was going to get a boarding penalty. He was about a foot off the boards, and he put himself in a precarious position, and I just kind of gave him a nudge, but I could have absolutely buried him.
Do you think, Andy, because of the size differential, I mean, you're 6'6", so your elbow is always going to be around somebody's head, that actually your height advantage has become a disadvantage?
Well, you know, I like to think it still helps me in the defensive zone and, you know, my range and such, but, you know, it's definitely, you know, to tote the company line, we have to be aware of our appendages and where we're putting them, and, you know, even it sort of looks at times, I think, even though the hit is, you know, started with the shoulder, that even the following through motion, it appears that there's an elbow involved when really there isn't. So it's something that I've had to change a little bit, I guess, and I'm going to definitely make sure, maybe get back to hitting the guys with the back of my rear end.
Well, let's look at one of those classic hits. This was in the first round of the playoffs in your time with Ottawa against Pittsburgh, and you got Jordan Leopold as he rushed up the ice along the right side boards. This seems to be your sweet spot because you've caught a lot of players in this spot. Why does this sort of hit work so well for you?
Well, you know, the game, everyone is so focused on back pressure now through the neutral zone. And oftentimes when there's a guy, you know, hooking from behind, his first instinct is to look down at the puck, and that's really what I'm looking for. I don't know that hit probably would have got me 100 games now. But,
I was going to say, got you almost into the penalty box immediately.
I know.
You were kidding this morning, though, that I don't say you can only go one direction, but you feel much more comfortable going one way.
Well, I think I've played mostly on the left side, and for whatever reason, I've structured my my skating style to be able to make that hit on that side. And I've actually, for the first time, really just started playing the right side. Oh, there's one on the right side, so maybe I guess I can do it.
There you go. You can go both ways. You're not in NASCAR.
Yeah, you know, I'm back on the right side now, so I'm learning to do it again on the other side.
All right, back to that Leopold hit for a second. The reaction to it generally was that it was a clean hit, but here's a tweet for you from POTF blog, P-O-T-F blog. Andy Sutton, are you an expert? Anyway, we don't have to answer that. We know what he's getting at. Here was the exchange between you and a Pittsburgh reporter after that game in which you hit Leopold.
I think it's, you know, the hit on Yarko behind the net was way worse. I mean, I got suspended hitting Pascal Dupuis earlier this year for the exact same hit. So, I mean, I don't know why mine's going to be hotly contested.
You didn't know your elbow came up and hit him in the head?
Are you asking me or are you telling me?
No, I'm asking you.
You're an expert?
No, it was on the replay.
So you're an expert?
No, it was on the replay.
So you saw it, you're saying you saw it, it's on, you're an expert?
Yes.
You're not an expert, so we'll...
No, I'm saying I saw it. I'm asking you, did you know you got your elbow up?
You're telling me I got my elbow up?
It was on the replay.
You're an expert. You know it was up.
That exchange, Andy, has got more views on YouTube
so awesome.
than the actual hit. Here's a tweet from ANSB. Is Andy Sutton aware of the fact that his line, "Are you an expert?" has become a joking rebuttal among hockey fans?
Seems to be my my legacy.
It'd be a great name for the back of your yacht when you're retired, too, by the way.
Yeah, the expert. I'll have the last laugh then, I guess, right?
You caught your current teammate, Jordan Eberle, with an open ice hit last November when you were with the Anaheim Ducks. So I think we have it here. It was 250 pounds versus 185. And, oh, that hurt. And anyway, this is how Jordan Eberle remembers it.
I remember getting a suicide pass from Taylor Hall right in the middle, and then as soon as I got it, I remember Andy, 6'10" or whatever that big man is, just hammering me. And I asked him to go after. He didn't want to fight me. I think he was scared, but you know what? He was probably the toughest guy I played against last year.
You remember the hit?
Yeah, sure.
He seems to have a different recollection than you, though, I think.
Yeah, he should be mad at Halsey, not at me.
Yeah. Well, he's one of the younger players, so here's a tweet from 1791 BPC is the handle. What's it like being on a team with players half your age?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, when I first started, I didn't think I'd ever get to this point, but it's pretty cool, actually. You know, I feel pretty empowered by it. I'm pretty committed to try to be that guy that's still playing when he's 40. I feel as good as I've ever felt, and I'm in a great spot here, and I really get a lot of energy from these young guys. It's a blast.
What about the responsibility of making sure that these guys get their space and are taken care of by yourself and your partner, Theo Peckham, Hordichuk?
It's important. I mean, even just because the game's changed doesn't mean guys should be allowed to take liberties without any repercussions. So, I mean, we try to be in there for those guys and stick up for them when we have to.
Tweet from Jonesy Matt 60. How do you deal with the physical pain of all the shot blocking you do, which leads us into a piece of equipment you brought with you here tonight, your shin pads?
Well, these have sort of evolved over the years. Every time I get a new welt, I usually put a new pad on, and they seem to hit you in the same spots quite regularly. But it's for me, it's kind of addictive. You know, like people who are obsessed with tattoos, and I think it's the same with Laddie. I mean, we thrive on it. I mean, it's a big part of what we do. And for guys that don't, put up all the points, I mean, this is our way of contributing. And I think it's contagious as well.
It's like a patented move, though. You're like the grandfather of that drop one leg down and block shots with it. How did it come about? Guys have copied you on it, obviously.
It really just evolved. I didn't do it early in my career, and I don't even know how it started to happen, really, to be honest with you, and I can only really go one direction with it, which is odd. So, it's just the type of thing that I think it's put your big body in the way and try to take up as much ice as you can.
You're great at it, and you have been for a long time, and obviously there's extra protection on there, but I find it fascinating that coaches now have taught it's like a mind meld with all five guys on the ice that they're willing to put their body in harm's way and block shots. It's just expected.
Yeah. I mean, you said it. I mean, it's expected, and it's counted upon. You're relying on all the guys to do it, and really everyone does it now. So I mean, it makes it so hard for us as defensemen to get the puck through 5-on-5. I mean, I can't remember.
It's almost like a scourge.
It's unbelievable. You almost have to find a tiny little hole to thread it through. To get a shot on net. You're basically putting it through 10 guys, almost 9 guys, I guess. So.
3 topics, Andrew, you want to touch on before you leave tonight. One is you might be the smartest guy on this team and every team you've ever played on, because you went to Michigan Tech. For your scholarship, where of course you played, but you were studying environmental engineering at a school that is well known for its proficiency in engineering and the sciences. 6 weeks before you finished your degree, the San Jose Sharks signed you as a free agent. Have you ever finished the degree?
Well, you said I'm the smartest guy, maybe the dumbest.
Yeah.
I think I have 4 classes left, and I never went back. I tried to do it through correspondence, and they were pretty adamant about me finishing my degree on campus, which I was surprised about. I would have thought that would have been important for them to, have have me graduate, especially playing in the NHL and stuff. And it just became tough when you have a family of your own to tell your wife you're moving up to Houghton for the summer.
Well, and you said this morning, I don't even think I could do a derivative now. I can't even say it, a derivative now, but I know that Daryl could help you with that.
Yeah.
Here's a tweet from Reese Drake. Andy, what is the story behind this picture?
Uh-oh.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's horrible. Wow.
Wow.
A few of us.
You're fronting a punk band at that time, or what?
Like Johnny Rotten.
It was a short dye job, too. We a few of us dyed our hair blue for the playoffs in Atlanta when we played against the Rangers, and we quickly
Terry Letman was the other guy.
Quickly got.
Well, I understand it from a goalie, but
yeah, we were pretty fired up. It was the first time we'd made the playoffs there, and we were excited. We were just trying to have some fun with it.
whose idea originally was it?
It was probably mine.
Well, we did talk to a former teammate of yours this week, who shall remain nameless, but it was Bobby Holik. And he said you and Letton went out and colored your hair Thrasher blue. He said you took so much heat for it that you tried to dye it back to the original color, but it came out St. Patrick's Day green. And all of this before the puck was even dropped in the series. Anyway, all right. Last year in Anaheim was very tough for you, on and off the ice. You were limited to 18 games because of injury, but that paled in comparison next to yours and Natalie's difficult pregnancy. What happened?
Yeah, we got pregnant. We waited a long time to do it, and we got pregnant and had twins going. And Natalie was on bed rest pretty much from the start, which was really obviously awful for her. And we ended up losing one of the babies early on, which was tough. And then we also had our daughter, Senya. She came 4 weeks early. We had her at 4 pounds, and she's home now doing well. She's over 10 pounds and just a tank. So
yeah.
There
you go.
I was home about 3 weeks ago, and that was taken then. So that's pretty cool.
That's a gorgeous picture, and that's even better. Well, listen, I can't imagine what you and Natalie went through, but if you can handle that, this little game that you're playing in the NHL is probably not a problem at all.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. Andy, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Andy Sutton providing veteran leadership for the Edmonton Oilers, our guest on After Hours. Back with head coach Tom Rennie in a moment.